Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blue Moon Cabaret, the Lighthouse Collective's very first production of anything. Just so you get a understanding of who we are, we're gonna have a few people come and talk and introduce ourselves more formally. We're going to have one of our founding members, Melissa, come and talk to you about the theater collective as a whole. And then following her will be Callie, who's going to be talking about the Blue Moon Cabaret as a whole.
Hello, I'm Melissa Lubina. I'm one of the founding members of the Lighthouse Theatre Collective. The Lighthouse Theatre Collective came together out of a desire and a necessity to make art. Starting a theater company was a dream of mine and one that I envisioned happening in the very distant future. But then COVID hit, and as an early career theater practitioner, I, like many others, was suddenly looking at a bleak and uncertain future because there were no jobs. And then theater companies started to create virtual theater, and it dawned on me that we didn't have to wait for the future. I could start a theater company now. And if a pandemic isn't the best time to start a theater company, I really don't know when is. I reached out to my friends, some in the same boat as me, as a freshly graduated theater person who is floundering, and then some who were still in school but hungry to make theater outside of the academia. So the Lighthouse Theatre Collective was born, and that is what it truly is, a collective. We value collaboration and giving equal voice to all members. As part of our mission, we dedicate ourselves to serve as a learning space and as a space where young artists can grow without the fear of failure. Because art is not perfection. Art is a journey and a reflection of the human condition. And as I have never met a perfect person, I strive to remove perfection from the human condition altogether. We are all messy and we all start somewhere. My friend and mentor and former professor, Tom Bryant, once told me, or he told a class of students, but I'm putting it all on me, not to wait for opportunity, to create your own opportunity. So here we are creating.
Hi, everyone. So first of all, I want to thank everyone who came tonight and is watching. We have a fantastic lineup of just incredible performers, as you're going to see. So I just want to really fast talk about what the night is about and how it kind of came to be, and what to expect. So the idea for tonight is that we wanted to give creatives of all types a chance to come together and share / observe some of the work that's been created during quarantine. It's not news to anybody that the pandemic has shut off basically every facet of live performance. So we wanted to create a space where art could be shared and seen as it should be, first of all, and hopefully inspire and motivate other people during just a time, truly. So we hope that it does that for you. We hope that you guys enjoy the show. We also will be having a Q&A at the end of the show. So if you see the little cool live chat thing on one side of me, go ahead and ask all your questions. You can ask them during the performance. We have someone jotting them down if you think of them, or you can ask them, right away when we start the Q&A. But any question is appreciated. Don't be shy. Yeah, thank you for coming, and we hope you guys enjoy.
Hello. Hello. My name is Rosalind, and I'll be performing a Shakespeare speech from Julius Caesar. It's going to be the character of Mark Antony. It's something that I've been working on over the quarantine. He's one of my favorite characters in all of the Shakespeare canons, and I hope that you enjoy. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not praise him. The evil that men do live after them, the good often turn with their bones, so let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus have told you that Caesar was ambitious. If so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously have Caesar answered it. Here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men, come I to speak at Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me, but Brutus says that he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He have brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill, but that in Caesar seem ambitious. When the poor have cried, Caesar wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says that he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see on Lupercal. I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he thrice refused. Is that ambition? Brutus says that he was ambitious, and sure, Brutus is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but I am here to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, without cause. What cause withhold you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, oh, thou art fleeting, brutish beast, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause until it come back to me again. Thank you so much for that. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to our next performer. Coming to your screens will be Ani, and she has something amazing to show you that she has been working on all quarantine. So.
Hi guys, my name is Ani Villarreal. I'm an actor and I also like to sew in my free time. I've been sewing since I was about probably 8 years old, but I didn't get good until probably a couple years ago. But yeah, I will show you some pieces that I made during quarantine because that's just what I want to do with my free time. So come over here, and this is the first quilt I've ever made, but you can see it right here. But yeah, it's just a little like row quilt. You can make it as big as small as you want. But yeah, it took me probably like 2 weeks to make, I would say, but I have made many quilt tops, which is like the fancy part of there, but never actually finished a quilt. So I was very happy to finish some quilt. But the next thing is that I started sewing to basically make garments because I have a hard time finding kind of clothes that fit me well or just like a style that I like. So I started making my own clothes. So the first dress I made during quarantine is this little like vintagey 1975 dress, and with a matching mask because, you know, it's quarantine. But yeah, I was just kind of inspired by vintage fashion, and I'll show you the pattern that I used. It's just it's actually like an original vintage 1975 pattern, but it was a little harder than I expected, but it turned out okay. It's not perfect. I don't think any garment made is ever perfect, but you know what? That's just the journey. But since then, I've made a few other things. The next thing I made is this little red dress. And yeah, it was my first dress that I made with a invisible zipper, which was kind of hard to do, but basically it's just making sure the zipper, is completely invisible. And I liked it so much that I made another one. So here is the second one that I made, and it's this like really beautiful floral pattern. But yeah, so it's been kind of cool to just kind of like figure out how to make stuff, and you can really tailor stuff to your body exactly. And then the last thing that I made, so I have this sweater that I love, this gray one. I got it like years ago from the Gap, but I wear it all the time and I want another one. So I basically just copied the pattern and I made this white one. So it's not perfect. It's kind of messy on the inside and the neckline's a little bit stretched out, but you know what? I still wear it. I still have a lot of fun. But yeah, so sewing has been something that I've just been doing for a long time, but I've just now gotten okay at it. So it's been a fun journey, and it's fun to just kind of play with things and play with fabrics and materials. And yeah, I encourage all of you to try sewing if you feel like you want to. And it's really easy to get started. But yeah, so I hope you guys find inspiration for sewing. Thank you so much.
Okay, so please excuse the noise outside. My dogs are crazy. But I know the only thing that I've been sewing this whole entire quarantine are masks personally. They have lost their absolute mind, so please forgive them. But I do plan on making me a Harry Potter robe after this beautiful cabaret is done. So I hope you guys are encouraged to pick up sewing. It is really a great talent to have. You can always fix your clothes, right? Or you can make clothes like Ani did. So we're gonna move right on. So the next person coming to your screen will be Trevor. So give it on up for them.
Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. It was something else. I am still adjusting on these things here. Give me a second. There we go. I'm currently running this entire thing live, so doing presentations is really hard for me at the same time. But hi, I'm Trevor. I am the current running technician for this. I am also the artist that did a lot of the artwork for the borders and all. And as such, I figured I'd show off a little bit and do what I could. That was a piano piece. I've been practicing piano. I've been trying to learn it. And I figured I'd learn the Lavender Town theme from the original Pokemon games. I always loved how it sounded, very creepy, very quiet. So I figured I'd pick that up and play it for everybody and have a little fun with the video editing. My next bit I would like to show off is some artwork I've done. This is a bit of art I've done recently. It's a crossover piece between a TV show called Amphibia and the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Everyone who knows me knows I love the Tower of Terror, and I've been watching a lot of cartoon series lately. And there was a character in the show called Bella the Bellhop, and I was like, oh, I should do a Tower of Terror crossover with it. So I spent like a couple days working on it, and I painted it up, and I'm like really happy with how this came out. It's my favorite piece so far. And then this next piece is a flower I drew. This is actually the first digital art I did, the first digital art piece I did. It was complicated. It was a whole trick learning how to do all the little details on it and everything like that. So it really came out to be just amazing. Like, I'm really happy with this. And I figured I would wrap up with something that I've been working on a lot. So I'm probably going to turn my camera off here so you can see it better. So let's do that right now. This is a project I'm working on with a small group of people. Their names are Taylor and Roy. They might be in the chat, so hi guys. This is a recreation of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror from Disney's California Adventure that closed in 2017. We have been working effortlessly just to replicate every inch of this attraction, making sure it's, you know, as close as possible to what it was before. Currently you're seeing the lobby, you can hear a little bit of the lobby music in the background, things like that. And we're approaching the library. The library is one of my favorite moments in what we've currently got working. So the doors will open on for you automatically. You can walk in, you have the storm outside raging through the window, the doors close, and the pre-show begins. And I gotta give it credit to like my entire team. Taylor is our texture artist, and he's been doing amazing work here. Roy's our programmer, and again, also been doing great work. Let's see. I'll let it play out a little bit just to show you guys how it looks.
Into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Hollywood, 1939. Amid the glitz and the glitter of a bustling young movie town at the height of its golden age, the Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star in its own right, a beacon for the show business elite. Now, something is about to happen that will change all that. The time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Tonight's story in the Twilight Zone is somewhat unique and calls for a different kind of introduction. This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard, because in tonight's episode, you are the star. And this elevator travels directly to the Twilight Zone.
And so that was the pre-show. And now it's going to transition a little bit to a video of the outside. This is the remaining section that we just finished up not too long ago. We're currently working on the ride system, but we have the sign programmed. Roy programmed a lot of like the actual elements behind like the show scenes and the pre-show and the music and how the sign functions. And then he gave me the tools to work with how the sign works and all that. So it's been a lot. This whole project is a little crazy, but I'm very excited for it. I'm happy to see it progressing as it is. We're hoping to have the ride working soon, and before you know it, the Tower of Terror will be back. At least that's my hope. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up here and pass it back to Rosalind. So thank you all for watching, and I'm going to give it back to Rosalind here. So give me a second.
Let's give it up for Trevor, because clearly I'm a millennial and I have no idea how to function on a computer, let alone recreate the Tower of Terror from scratch. Oh my gosh. Let's also give a shout out to all of our tech people who are working behind the scenes, Trevor included, and Kristen, who is moderating our chat. Speaking of which, go in there if you have questions about what this collective is doing, our future projects, anything that you want to know, please go to the chat section and put a question in there. If you are on Instagram, we also have on our story, you can give us a question there and we're going to be reading it at the end. Because remember, we do have a Q&A at the very end of this very performance, okay? So we want questions. We need questions. We don't want to be just talking at you. Also, I would encourage you, if you haven't already, grab yourself a drink. It doesn't have to be of the alcoholic persuasion, but you're more than welcome to join us in our little drink. Be a little refreshing, crisp. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next performer coming to your screen. Welcome back, Callie.
Hi, everyone. I'm back. So today I'll be sharing some poems that I wrote during quarantine, but I did want to talk about how I got into it just a little bit. So I have been writing poetry for a while, but I never really thought of it as an art. It truly started off as a way to express feelings because I was in high school. So you can imagine, and I was never good at regular journaling. So I just started to write like just poems. And I never planned to share them because they were always pretty personal. And I also stopped for a while, I want to say like a couple years. And it wasn't until halfway through quarantine that I really started to get back into it and find a new love for it, which is very important to me because it used to be something I associated a lot with just high school and, you know, just like all the feelings that come with that. And so to be able to find a love for it again and to start creating things that inspired me and made me feel like I was, you know, creating good art was really nice, especially right now when it's very hard to create things. So one is a little longer and then one is short. So also excuse the glare in my glasses, but I will just go ahead and start with the long one. So this one is called Tangible. There is the sound of a memory, unobtainable, like the quick, swift ringing of a bell disappearing before you can grab it. There's a copper war in the sky which rages on, pushing chest pieces off the board as they hit the ground like thunderous heartbeats, until little statues of little people are left broken, weapons still held in ceramic severed hands. There is a gust of sweet wind that asks if it would be all right to take the sorrow away, and a frail body who knows only the words thank you. There is a pool of ice water that shocks the heart into feeling alive until cold water wraps around him like a blanket, and he learns quickly how to impress with his ability to hold his breath underwater. There is the sound of a telephone ringing and the voice of a mother picking up the other line as she hands her young son the phone to talk to his first crush, who would open him up with the key she wore around her neck, only to never know how to close him. There is a memory of a violently green field in which too much grows, concealing the imprint of bare, tired feet as she runs in circles, hoping to find the remnants of rectangular graves. And then there is nothing. Nothing in the places he's looked, nothing in the faces she's forgotten, nothing in the hair of Midas's daughter, which grows shorter each November as she forgets who she is again. Nothing to be found in the total number of memories, as the youth she can feel so vividly is shucked from her viciously by an earnest farm worker of time. So that was the longer one. And this one is the shorter one, and it's called A Kitchen's Silence. Some days feel like echoes of the soul, watching as unknown hands pull pomegranate seeds from the corpse of an empty promise of love. Young, greedy eyes watching as the time dripped down her wrist into a leaky pipe drain only ever half fixed. The ticking of a once quiet clock becomes deafening in the rare presence of a kitchen's silence. And with every hour passing, the ever-present pressure on her chest grows denser, as though the heart inside a child was a difficult thing to crush. So those are just two of the ones that I've written. I hope you enjoyed them. One of my dreams is to maybe release a little book. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I wrote, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Give it up for Callie. I haven't written a poem since maybe about 5th grade, and it wasn't that great then. And she's out here writing masterpieces. Personally, I love it. Just so I'm just gonna plug this right now. If you aren't following us on Instagram, please go over to Instagram and follow us on Instagram at Lighthouse Collective. We also have a Facebook page. You can check us out there. That way you can stay updated on everything that we're going to be doing and all of our future endeavors and future projects. We may be doing another one of these beautiful cabarets. You never know. So also, I'm gonna little side note, if you haven't already done so, I suggest that you go out and vote. A lot of people have mail-in ballots. It's too late to mail in your ballot that it will be counted. So if you are still holding on to your ballot, such as I, go ahead and drop it off at your local voting polls. They will be able to take it for you, okay? We got to get out and vote. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It does. It doesn't matter who you're voting for. Just make sure that you go out and make sure that your voice is heard, okay? We can't be silent on anything anymore, especially during these times. With quarantine, it's a strange world we're living in. We're inviting you into our homes. You are coming and seeing us as you've never seen us before, and we're growing closer but also distant. But we have to remember that we are a collective as a people. See what I did there? And that we have to look out for each other, okay? So go out and vote. Make sure that you're voting. Go and make sure that you're following us on our social media networks and everything like that. And we're going to move on to our next performer. Coming to your screen is Julia.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I agree with Rosalind. Go out and vote. For sure. 100%. Please. And so, hi, my name is Julia Hibner. And during the quarantine, I bounce in and out of messing around with like instruments and stuff like that because I like music and music's fun. But yeah, during the quarantine, I kind of got back into it for a little bit. I haven't played guitar in a really, really long time, or like since like last year-ish. So I kind of picked it up again, so which was really cool. And I really challenged myself and would try and learn songs by ear and stuff like that, and create my own covers to songs that already had lyrics. So that's what I wanted to show, as well as create some of my own original work. So, which I do for fun. It's just for fun. So it's fun. I like doing it. So yeah. Yeah, the first one is a cover of a makeup videotape song. And then the next one that I'll do is my song. So cool. Okay, thank you. Let me get situated. Sometimes I work these lonely nights just to keep you in my arms, up and down, just to keep you safe from harm. Sometimes I feel strange, a little confused, but I'm still working just to keep me next to you. 'Cause I'm a hustler, baby, hustler man, I'm doing working. 'Cause I'm a hustler, baby, your lover man, I'm doing working. Sometimes I get a little sad, a little mad. But I keep thinking of you, baby, and it all don't seem so bad. Sometimes I get a little strange, a little confused. I'm still working, baby. 'Cause I'm a hustler, baby, hustler man. I'm doing what I can. 'Cause I'm a hustler, baby, you're a lover man. I'm doing what I can. 'Cause I'm a hustler, baby, hustler man. I'm doing what I can. Yeah. Me to the picture show. Me to the picture show. I'll escape to breathing alive. That's not mine. Take me to the boardwalk. To the boardwalk. See what it feels like to be on the edge of the world. Take me to the bed. I'll escape all my pain. Take me to Los Angeles, to Los Angeles. I'll feel my pulse and body with the pulse of the city. Take me to a place you know, to a place you know. Please, I don't wanna go home. Please, I don't wanna go home. I don't wanna go home. Please, I don't wanna go home. Please, I don't wanna go home. Please. Please. Thank you.
Can we talk about the glasses, honey? We love to see it. We love to see it, honey. Yeah, shout out to Julia, because I can't sing and play a guitar at the same time. Well, I can't sing, nor can I play the guitar. So she's just double talented. Can we say? Can we just admit that that's what it is? Also, I just want to remind you guys that get into the chat. Make sure that you're leaving us beautiful questions so that we can answer at the end of this lovely performance. Shall I say? All righty. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move right on to our next performer coming to your screen. Welcome back, Melissa.
Okay, well, I don't know who approved this lineup to put me after the singer, but thanks for that. So I'm gonna go off script, which as a stage manager is probably the worst thing you can do to other stage managers. Not that I've had a script at all. I'll be honest, I skipped tech this week. Anyway, I don't consider myself an artist, and I have always been very hesitant with that word, to claim it at all, to sit next to it. I've always considered other people far more talented than I am, far more capable, interesting, creative. I have a pretty analytical mind, which I think is why I tend towards the administrative work, because there can be artistry in that, but it is a lot more logical, and there are patterns and, you know, puzzles to figure out. But in quarantine, with everyone doing creative endeavors, I started thinking about things that I liked as a child, and one of the things were art classes in like first grade or second grade art classes. And I remember we had a one day a week with this for a while. This art teacher would come in, and probably for a half an hour, but it felt like half the day. You know how like 6-year-old minds work. But she would teach us different medias, and one of them was pastels. And for some reason, that has always stuck with me, just like how much I really enjoyed coloring with pastels. And I can't tell you why it stuck with me. But recently I went out and I bought a box of extremely cheap pastels at Michael's, and they are awful. They don't blend correctly, they're hard to use, but it's kind of not an outlet. Well, I guess it is an outlet, but it just kind of something for me to do to mitigate my anxiety levels and trying to keep myself focused while I'm doing other things at the same time. Anyway, the very first thing that I created was this, and it was just kind of a manifestation of my anxiety. And I was trying to figure out how to blend, which I didn't do very well, but so it goes. This is a landscape piece that I made, also trying to blend. I did a little bit well on the mountains and the grass. There's a beginning pastel tutorial that I tried to follow of a sunset. This is also a beginning pastel tutorial that I tried to follow, also of a sunset with the mountaintops and trying to blend the skyline. This is the moon from a picture I found on Instagram that I copied and tried to turn into a pastel drawing. And then the final one is a hummingbird, which I just kind of pulled from my brain, I think. Maybe I saw a picture, but I don't know. I didn't use anything for reference. I just kind of tried to recreate something. Also trying to blend. Not very good at blending or drawing, as you can see, but that kind of goes into what I was saying earlier about perfection and how art isn't perfection. And you know what? Everybody starts somewhere. So whether you create drawings that a second grader could produce in probably much better quality, or whether you're, I don't know, someone who's been painting for 50 years, like nothing you create is going to be perfect. There's always somewhere else to go. And as with anything in life, art is a journey, and you just have to keep trying and practicing. And you know what, like the very first painters, like in the Renaissance, do you think any of those people knew what they were doing? Like, we're copying their work, right? So they created all of these techniques, so why can't we learn and teach ourselves and create techniques for ourselves? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm rambling right now. This is this is live theater, folks. I have no script. I kind of just wanted to ramble about that, and I guess talk about the fact that with anything in life, you're on a journey, and it's okay to be where you are, wherever that is. So maybe you are dealing with loss and grief, or you're dealing with depression, or you have massive anxiety because we're in a fucking pandemic and we have a governing body that is woefully inadequate and ill-equipped to handle any of this. And we live in a country that values the individual over the collective, and we're we're theater artists, and we value community and family and growing together, and that seems to be the antithesis of what this country is about. And in a lot of ways, that's hard. But it's still okay to be where you are, and you know, you will get to the end. No, you won't get to the end. Everything is a journey. And even when you do get to the end of life, we don't know what's on the other side of it. So you just keep trucking and take one day at a time and make a decision. And don't worry about making right or wrong decisions, because whatever decision you make that's the decision you made, and that's the direction you're going in. And everything will lead you to where you are meant to be, because you are getting yourself there. And yeah, anyway, somehow I got there from pastel drawings. So I'm gonna call it here. So thank you. Also, I just want to say I really missed MC Roslyn, so I'm glad she's back. Let's pass it on to her.
I mean, I also love being back in emceeing because it's one of the things that I enjoy. I didn't think I would actually enjoy it. Funny story, my very first emceeing gig was in high school. I hosted a talent show and people loved me then. So ever since then, if you need a host, I'm the host with the most. Just to say. But I just want to give a shout out to Melissa, because those artworks were phenomenal, and you need to stop being so hard on yourself, girl, because they were great. Okay. And that's the thing that we have to remember. And I think that's the reason why we decided to do this cabaret, is because we are artists. no matter how we actually view ourselves, we are artists. Whether you are a tech person in theater, whether you are a stage manager, you're creating a live piece of art that people are watching and experiencing and being changed by. And that's what art is. It's an experience that changes a human or a person and a being, for good or for worse. It doesn't matter, as long as there's a change that happens. So I think we have to be very aware of the fact that we are artists and that we do need to be able to create. And that's why we decided to do this cabaret, because we needed to create and we needed to get our outlet out. And so we have to honor that, and we honor our creative thoughts and our creative processes, whatever those may be, whether it's pastels, whether it's sewing, whether it's designing in a beautiful computer program, recreating things that you love, like memorizing things that you love. It's all art, and we have to be respectful and honor that passion, that drive that we have. It's a part of life. We're artists. We can't ever stop being artists. So we're gonna move on to our next artist. Coming to your screen, Tay.
Hi, I'm Taywana Johnson. I'll be reading a couple of poems for y'all today written by Black women. The first one is called Two Black Women by Gwendolyn Brooks. Sisters, where there is cold silence, no hallelujahs, no hurrahs at all, no handshakes, no neon red or blue, no smiling faces, prevail across the editors of the world who are obsessed, self-honeying, and self-crowned in the seduced arena. It has been a hard drudge with fainting, bandaging, and death. There have been starting confrontations. There have been tramplings of monarchs and other men. But there remain large countries in your eyes, shrewd sun, the civil balance, the listening secrets, and you create and train your flowers still. The next is a quote or a poem by Asada Shakir. It is our duty to fight for freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. I'm gonna say that one more time, just for the people in the back, for all of y'all can get it, as well as we've been talking this whole live. It's important that you vote, exercise your right to vote, and that's also a way how we can get freedom. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. The last piece is by an artist named Simi. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Seen. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Seen. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Seen. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Seen. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Seen. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Seen. I see you, Black girl. You'll never be invisible to me. I'll burn down cities in your name. Thank you. I'm Taywana Johnson.
What more can be said? We stand with Black Lives Matter. We stand with Nigeria. We stand with the political movements that are going on. As artists, it's our job and our duty to commentate on what's happening on the world. We are a reflection of the world and we have to play our parts, right? So thank you, Tay, for that. It was beautiful, beautiful poems. We've almost at the end, we've almost come to a conclusion. Before we get to the Q&As, before we get to talking and chatting on here, I just want to close with something impromptu. Give it up to my friend who suggested this. This is from Midsummer's Night Dream, Puck. If we shadows have offended, think but this, all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Gentle, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will amends ere long, else call Puck a liar. So good night unto you all. Give me your hand if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. Thank you guys for coming out to the very first production of the Lighthouse Theatre Collective. Thank you for enjoying this Blue Moon Cabaret. Thank you for listening to these beautiful artists and for just being here with us. We needed this as much as you guys probably needed it. Live theater is very important and we have to hold on to it, especially in these uncertain times. We are purveyors, we are the reflection of the world, and out of this quarantine, amazing art is going to come and the theater is going to thrive once we get back into the groove of things. But it's our jobs to keep live theater happening, and that means if you know of any wonderful Zoom live streaming events, productions, any of that, please tune into those things because it's helping artists, it's keeping art in the minds of the audience, the people that we play for. So we're gonna move on into the Q&A, but I think we have a little bit else to do. I think we're just gonna move into the Q&A. Okay, so I think we're gonna move in. I think you should be seeing us all pop up on the screen soon. Hopefully you have. We've been monitoring some of these chats and we found some questions. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna surf through the chat while we are getting ourselves together and collected for this beautiful moment here at the end. I think there was a question for Julia. I think it was, how long did it take for you to write those songs or prepare? I'm looking for it. There's a lot of chat conversation, so if I missed your question or messed it up, my bad, dog. My bad. So Julia, did you want to try to answer that?
The first cover one was so I used a capo because for the original key that it's in, without the capo, I couldn't do the chords right with my pinky. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just bump it up so I'm able to do it because I wanted to. And then I kind of just ended up not liking the way it sounded like that, so I just switched all the notes in general. So that took about it was just one sitting, so like a day-ish. And then for the original, I was just thinking about, I miss like going places and, you know, being at home all the time is fun, kind of, not really. And so yeah, that one was kind of just in one sitting, maybe 5 minutes. Kind of came out as a poem first, and I was like, there's nothing else to do. with Spotify. Sorry.
Not yet. Okay. So we have a question for Trevor. Trevor and friends, do you have any plans for what you will be building next after you finish the Tower of Terror?
No. We've talked a little bit about like various things here and there. We talked about doing like a story mode version of the tower. We talked about doing the other Tower of Terrors. We talked about doing things like Haunted Mansion or something like that. But we've been working on this project for like 3 years now, I think, and it's still nowhere near done. We probably have another year or two left on it. It's a lot of work because I'm modeling everything, pretty much almost everything on my own. So I make all the objects, the space, and things like that. I use Vectorworks for that, which is a theater drafting program, and then I send it to Taylor, who's our texture artist, and he's the only one that's really doing textures. So he has to do all of that, and each model I send him is just one after the other, and then Roy is our programmer, so he's really the one that's like putting it all together. So it's just the three of us. So it's been a really slow process, and getting it all ready, making sure it works well. We're hoping to have it, functional for VR and stuff like that, and you'll be able to wander around the building and stuff. But yeah, no plans for anything else, not yet.
Okay. So I'm going to move on to the next question. This one is not actually a question, but this is for Melissa. The comment is, your improv speech was resonating hard with the chat. Maybe a podcast in the future, maybe for you?
Really, people want to listen to me ramble? I mean, sure. I have nothing better to do with my time right now than to sit at a mic and just ramble. So, I guess.
Honestly, do it.
Sure. I mean, I guess that's what this night is about. Just do the shit. So, yeah, why not?
I'm here for that. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. I should have went back to Trevor, but we have another question for Trevor. What program is the Tower project being built on?
It's being built in Unreal Engine, so pretty much just a standard video game engine. It's free, so we can do what we want with it, and it's pretty flexible, so we're doing it in that.
So one of my friends is texting me, and she's like dying to know, is this like copyrighted infringement or anything like that? Or is it your original work?
That's a really big gray area. We're not charging for it, for one, so that's a plus. On the other hand, big question. We're not planning on doing anything with it that should get us into trouble. It's mostly just for our sake. We do plan on releasing it into the world at some point, but it's mostly for the group of us to enjoy and be able to relive the ride and all that.
Yeah, because I missed the Tower of Terror myself because that was my favorite Disney ride, and now that it's gone, I don't need to go to Disney. So we have another question for Ani. How long did it take you to make the dress? Not sure which one they're asking about, but how long did it take you to make any of the dresses? Or all the dresses?
So the first one probably took me from start to finish about a week, I would say. I was sewing probably like an hour a day, so about a week. The other ones I finished both in like a day, but I did sew for like 8 or 10 hours a day, so yeah, I know. Nothing else to do, but yeah, so I would say I'd say average would take me probably like 4 days, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, I have no patience, so I could not have done that, so I applaud you, okay?
I don't know how I did. It was honestly, I had Disney movies on repeat like the whole time, so.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Callie. I'm gonna come back to that other question. I see it, don't worry. For Callie, what is your biggest inspiration and favorite poem?
Boy, I think, well, if we're talking about artists, I really love Ocean Vuong. I don't know if anyone's familiar. He recently wrote the book On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Oh God, I hope you could hear me. I realized I wasn't talking to my mic at all. He recently wrote On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, which is just phenomenal. And he actually before that released a book called Night Sky with Exit Wounds, which is his poetry. And it is absolutely phenomenal. I can't describe what he does with words. If you get a chance to read it, please do. For those of you who know me, I go to bed at 8 o'clock. We're not gonna talk about it. But I literally stayed up until like 4 a.m. because I wanted to just devour everything in this book. So I would say that he is one of my biggest inspirations. Um, and in terms of my favorite poem, mm, I don't know that I have one specific favorite. If we're talking about the ones that I've written, I think I love them all equally, but I love them all for different parts of them, if that makes sense. Just because I feel like they all represent a different part of myself, so it's hard to put more love into one than another. Um, but if we're talking about ones that are like famous poems, I also don't think I have one. Literally just everything Ocean Vuong's written, probably. I just love him. Please read his book. Oh my god. Um, you, it's just so good. Yeah. Yeah. That was just a plug for Night Sky with Exit Wounds. Ocean Vuong, hire me if you are watching.
I'm here for that. So I have one more question. If you guys have any more questions, you guys can go ahead and for sure put them into the chat because we can read them live if that's something that you guys want to do, something that you're interested in. We have time because we're all here together. This one is to all the alumni, which is probably all of us. We've all graduated at some point, or most of us. Some of us are still in school. I forget sometimes. I forget. So to the alumni, what advice do we have to offer graduating students who are going out into the world?
Rob a bank.
That is terrible advice.
Anyways.
I mean, the first note is bad timing.
I'm gonna cut that out.
No, I'll start because I'll give a little insight. It was hard before COVID, and even then, I walked out into this world going, I'm gonna find a job, and didn't. It sucked. I was miserable through a good portion of 2016. No, not 2016. God, I've lost track of the years. Whatever year I graduated, that was a year ago. 2019. Thank you. See, I'm glad someone else remembers. I walked out with a sort of job because I had a show that I was hired for just before graduating through the department, though. It was through SCSF, which is the Southern California Shakespeare Festival. And after that, I couldn't find work. I tried. I spent every day looking for jobs. I sent in resumes and portfolios and things like that to everywhere. A few times I would hear back, but most of the time it was just completely ghosted. The next job I got, I ended up getting through one of my professors who needed assistance with something, so I helped her. And then the last job I was able to get was through another connection of mine from school who works at East West Players, and we were working on a show that got shut down, unfortunately, due to COVID. But ultimately, I would say the advice for that, is your contacts are probably the most important thing, because those are the only way I found jobs. I tried so hard to get work outside that, but it was the people that I had already known or that I had worked with before who were almost instantly like, oh yes, we have to have you right now, and we want you to work for us and things like that. It's probably even harder right now with everything shut down. So the honest advice is don't lose hope in that. I mean, we're all kind of wandering into the dark right now, and hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So That's all I've got.
There is. I believe it. My advice is to create. We all got together and we decided to start a theater company, right? I was like, who would have thunk it? I would have never thought, like last year when I was graduating, that I was gonna be in a theater company, you know, that I helped create. That's something crazy, right? So for graduating students, if you can't find work, because like Trevor was saying, it's hard out here to find a job, especially now that COVID-19 hit and a lot of theaters are shutting down and all that other stuff. We have these beautiful devices called cell phones and cameras and YouTube and Instagram and all this other crazy stuff. And we can totally create our own art and create spaces for ourselves. And if you can't find something, make it. I know you rather just be like told what to do, but no. You take the reins and you take control over your own career. That's the best advice I can give you to create. Write stuff, write really bad stuff, because then you can become better. You can't start like Melissa was saying earlier, like we are hounded by this perfectionism, like, oh, we got to be perfect. It got to be perfect right out of the gate. No, it doesn't. Make really bad art so you can understand what made it bad, so then you can make it good. You know, do what you love and love what you do. That's the best advice I can give you. You have to be proactive in what it is that you're doing, especially as artists, because we are in a profession that we're constantly searching for a job. And if you can't find one, just make your own, you know? That's the best advice I got. Do any of the other alumni have any feedback for that, or no?
Yeah, both what Trevor and Rosalyn saying, utilize your contacts, whether those are industry professionals or even your own fellow graduating alumni, like your friends, use them. That's essentially what we did here. We're like, hey, we know a bunch of people, let's start a company, why not?
Right.
So that feeds into what Rosalind was saying, like create your own stuff. Don't wait around for somebody to tell you that you can or can't do something. Just be like, and we're fortunately in a position where we are, you know, we are given so many tools to be able to create our own stuff. Most of us have smartphones, we have internet connections. Not everybody, obviously, but a lot of people have these things, or they know somebody that have these things. So we can utilize the tools that we have at our disposal. Just because you don't have a theater space doesn't mean you can't create theater or works of art. You can go outside and put on a play in a park, or do it virtually. Or I stage managed someone's theater or their thesis for their MFA, and they did it in their living room. They put on a whole production in their living room. So found spaces are great places to put on theater. Put it on in your backyard, assuming you want to invite people to your backyard. I don't know.
During these times.
Yeah, also I would say take classes and do workshops, to build your skills, but also to make new connections outside of the whatever school you came from, because when you are at university, your pool is very limited. So once you start expanding out, like I met Tay at summer arts. Like if I didn't do summer arts, I wouldn't have met Tay and all of these like extremely talented artists, you know, and connections that I would not have had if I hadn't done that experience. And yeah, it was expensive, but overall it was worth it, I think.
It is.
If only because Tay and Quincy and I basically bitched about it for 3.5 weeks.
That part.
But I kind of wanted to kick it over to Tay, because Tay, you've gone through undergrad and an MFA program, and you have an agent, right? So, or I know you're doing professional gigs. So can you speak to that experience as an actor?
Also, Tay, once you're done with that, there's some questions for you in the chat too. So don't let me forget to ask you those questions.
I just got put on the spot to talk. I mean, so yes, I just graduated virtually with my MFA.
Hey,
This is not ideal situation. I literally thought
not.
I was gonna have all these showcases from the MFA program, and I would be working on a show right now, but clearly that didn't happen. What can I say? So I did undergrad. So I just want to say this because I think for a lot of actors, they think that you have to go and get the MFA. To be honest, I literally, once I graduated from Howard in DC. Honestly, in undergrad, I didn't, I was ready to go back to Texas. That's something looking back, I wish I would have tried to, get an internship and stay in DC, but I really thought I wanted to be home and, miss my friends that I thought I had after being gone for 3 years. And you just know when you grow up, you grow apart from each other. So I went back home and was there. And then I started grad school in 2017, which when I started grad school, honestly, I was like, this is a way to get me to Los Angeles. I can pull school loans, use the school money and stuff to do a big move from Texas to California. But the whole time I was in grad school, I did audition for stuff, a lot of grad programs that is frowned upon. So if you do that, keep the shit to yourself. Don't tell everyone. But it was always my goal to audition for different stuff. And if I would have landed something big, then obviously I would have dropped out of grad school. So I say all this to say that grad school is not the end all be all. You definitely don't have to go. I'm speaking from an actor perspective for it. My undergraduate degree is in theater arts administration. For an actor, for sure, even for theater arts administration, you don't really need to do it unless you want that fallback to teach. So don't feel like, oh, I just graduated from undergrad in theater, now I need to go get an MFA. Honestly, it could be a big waste of money. To be perfectly honest, I went to a state school and got in-state tuition after a year. So if you can get it cheap, but just don't go thinking that grad school is going to make you a big star, because it's not. And I'm not trying to sound mean and stuff. It's not. You're really there for connections and to work on your craft. And if you are going to one of the bigger programs, prepare to be there 3 years, living and breathing and working on your craft, and you couldn't even think about an audition. So just keep that in mind. There was some questions in me to chat. I don't even see the chat. What are the questions?
Yes. So the question is, who were those poets that you read? And another question is, who are your favorite Black poets?
Oh, shit. The poets that I read, the first one was Gwendolyn Brooks. The second one is an activist, Asada Shakur. And the last one is Simi, which you can check her out on Instagram at seeingblackgirls.com. She's the one who has that, the last piece, Seen, I See You Black Girl. It's all over shirts, coffee mugs, and half of her profits go and support different nonprofits. Some of my favorite Black poets, I like Gwendolyn Brooks. She has a lot of good pieces. Of course, Maya Angelou. Those are pretty much the two much. I read poetry here and there. Also EJ Speaks. I don't know if y'all know her. She started on Instagram. She does a lot of funny videos. She actually put out a poetry book. So I mean, I just, a lot of different stuff. And now what I think with the whole uprising, with everything, there's a lot of great poets out. I tend to follow stuff on Instagram. If you just hashtag Black Lives Matter and Black Artists Matter, there's a lot of people that are not published in a traditional sense, but they put a lot of their work out on Instagram. So I tend to go to stuff that deals with Black people, obviously, and deals with what's going on.
That part. So great answer. I'm here for it. I'm just starting to get into Black poets myself. I'm not really big on reading poetry, so that's why I don't know any names. So I'm gonna be looking for those. There's another question over from Instagram. What's the best part about operating a show in these times? Let's ask Kristen, because she was backstage helping out with Trevor, and I want to know how she felt seeing it and working on it from behind the scenes. And then I'm going to open it up to everybody else who performed.
Hello there. Almost kind of tying in a little bit with what Melissa was saying as advice to grads, and I would say this goes double for anyone in the tech side. Find new skills and just develop whatever random skills you run into, because that's what helped more than anything in this whole thing. My specialty is lighting. I'm a lighting designer, and that is almost worthless for what we did today. But what did come in handy is that I'm good with working with computers. I helped Trevor and I get set up in sort of our battle station for this whole thing. I assisted with sort of helping to figure out the overlays and stuff like that. He did a lot of the artwork side, and I sort of enhanced it with some animations and some other little effects, and we just sort of built that up. So, I mean, it's kind of more of a broadcasting thing than theater, so it just requires some different skills, and that's where being adaptable and being just willing to kind of stretch outside your comfort zone is really valuable.
Yeah.
So kind of the best part of doing this is, I mean, I've never had a better catered tech or shows, than being at home. Like,
right?
Being able to straight up have dinner at the table and then just go over and do a show is freaking fantastic.
It is. Not gonna
And
lie.
kind of being able to juggle around different people's schedules. Some people had wide open schedules because of COVID. Other people, most of us tend to get ourselves entangled in some different things. I started taking some classes again, and I know just everybody's got different things going on. So doing an online cabaret kind of gives us some flexibility and stuff like that. And I feel like a cabaret was a really good way to start, because since it wasn't scripted and since we kind of knew we were just doing things off the cuff, even though we had some rehearsals and stuff like that, it just knowing that the chaos was coming made it a lot easier to deal with. I think it was a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying being a part of this. So,
yay. How about anybody else? How is it doing theater or doing a new form or a different type of theater via Zoom, online, or in front of your screens? Is it different? Is it difficult? Like, how have you guys been experiencing this new Zoom theater thing?
Yeah,
anybody
I'll say something about it.
Okay.
Well, to those hello, to those of you watching who are familiar with ACT, what a throwback! I miss it. It is the cabaret was very much inspired by the variety shows. And for me, I don't know, it just brought back a lot of, obviously in a different form, but a lot of memories of just like people performing and showing off what they love and what they're proud of. And it's always just so nice to see people showing something that they're proud of and something that they want to share. Because I feel like that's the true pride of being an artist, is I'm proud of something and I believe it's something that the world deserves to see, which it is. You're correct. So just truly being a part of it is really nice. All tangled up in my headphones. But it just is really nice to have an audience again, especially coming from a performer perspective. To have people who are listening and everything, because performing in your mirror only gets you so far. And it's really just nice to have so many supportive people watching, and basically just your family watching and yelling at you from the sidelines. And it's sad in the sense that I can't hear everyone's voices. I can imagine them very well because I've memorized them after 4 years, but it really it hurts my heart a little bit that I can't hug and I can't see everyone and just hear them yelling. But it just is really, really nice because it gives me a sense of normalcy again. That's a word, right?
That's a word.
Okay, great.
I'm here for it.
I
say it's a
swear
word.
I graduated.
We are not English majors. We were theater majors, so.
Girl, that's why I wasn't an English major. Listen. But yeah, it's really nice to once again have people watching me, and hopefully it doesn't sound too narcissistic, but also I feel like as a performer you have to be narcissistic a little bit. But yeah, it felt good that people are watching and that my family's watching, my chosen family. So I love you guys. I miss you all.
So I have another question for everybody. David in the chat asks, who are we working on planning on doing any collaborative work with other people or anything like that? Anybody want to answer that question?
We're abandoning the mission statement right here. No, I'm kidding. Yes, definitely. I don't know if you mean in the sense of collaborating with other companies, which we're definitely open to doing that. But we are also open to bringing in other artists, like other actors, for whatever projects we put on. I know that I really want to, rather than just doing readings of published playwrights, eventually I want to find playwrights who are, you know, not published, who are just starting, and be like, hey, I wrote this play, will you put this on for me? I want to see how it reads. Yeah, definitely. Like it doesn't even have to be like very long. It could be a 10-minute play. It could be like 5 lines. I mean, to me, that's still art, you know? So yes, definitely I want to collaborate with unpublished playwrights. We're definitely going to open up our acting, our collection of talent to beyond what you've seen on the screen today, and the few other members that we do have in the, I guess, the board of the company, who were not here with us tonight, but they are still very much a part of our collective here. And yeah, did I answer that question?
I think so. I think like the thing that I think we were talking about is that we're open to working with like other artists, like directors or anything, like directors who just, hey, I really like this play and I really want to produce it. Do you guys mind doing it? So we're open to working with actors, directors, and everybody. We want to keep the idea of a collective going, bringing in works and working on it together. Our board is non-hierarchical. I can't say that word, but so we're all looking and bringing projects to each other and going, hey, is this something that we're interested in doing? Like Callie came up with, hey, let's do this cabaret thing, and we were like, yes. So we're all for just working and collaborating with anybody. But do we have anything in the immediate works? Not right now, but we're open to it, and we're looking to do it, and we're looking to do other projects, I think. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody out there has like a play that they wrote, or a play that is within the public domain, because right now we do not have money, and I don't want to buy right to to a lot of the plays out there right now. But if anybody has a play or a project that they want to put on, maybe you guys want to do, like, I don't know, a solo performance or a collection of monologues or something. If that is something that like you have a passion project that you want to do and you don't know how to get it off the ground, like message us on Instagram, or if you know anyone personally and you want to text us, like feel free to do that, and we'll help facilitate that and bring you on as like the creative force behind that one particular project. Also, like things that I've been thinking about that I want to do like a collection of voices, like have a performance of, I guess, monologues or solo performances of like strictly Black female voices, or another night of like Latinx voices or LGBTQ voices. Like I really want to bring back Tay's what was it, the what was that drink that your performance? Yes, because I still think that would be a really, really good podcast, like I don't know, a webisode or something. Like it would be hilarious
for a viral video when this is all over.
Yeah. So that's something I really want to do. I don't know if anybody else has other projects that they've been thinking about. But yeah.
I just think, never mind. Did I forget it? No, I remember it. I also think it's important to note that it doesn't have to be like a play too. I think one of the things we really want to stress about our theater collective is that we want to be an asset to people who feel like they can't get their stuff out there, people who don't, again, like I think you already said, like don't know how, but we truly want to be here to service underrepresented artists. We really want to give you guys the voice that you deserve and the voice that you should have. And we're here to make that happen in any way you need, any way possible, any way that we can. We might not have money, but we will do everything else in our power. And if we ever do get the money, maybe even better. So yeah, I mean, seriously, reach out with anything. It doesn't have to be like a finished project. It can be an idea that you want help forming. It can be a book that you want, 11 pairs of eyes to read. It truly, we want to be here for you guys and your projects and your art, because especially right now, your art deserves to be seen and you deserve to be heard and recognized. And especially right now in these times, and I won't talk about it a whole lot, but just we want to do everything we can for you guys.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm looking down, trying to scour through the chat to find any more questions. Hopefully I got them all. I think some of the questions got answered as we were talking, so hopefully we got to your question. If we missed any questions, my bad. I ain't got my glasses on, nor do I have contacts in, so I can't see anything. And this light is bright. So I think I have no more questions. So what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to just ramble some more? Or are you ready to let this?
Are there still people watching?
There's 22 people
of them,
watching us
baby.
right now. And so I just want to shout out those 22 people, because y'all stay with us the entire time. Y'all are lit, and I'm here for it. The chat has been live, and
has been popping.
loving it.
I also would like to. Oops, sorry, did I just cut you off? I also just want to shout out David Engel, who suggested a car wash. Please and thank you. I've been trying to get a car wash since I was the president of the ACT Club, and I will die on this hill. I want to do a car wash. I want to do a car wash. Please.
Now as we move into winter,
it's on my bucket list. I do not care this season.
Callie, you're gonna make me wear. Callie, you're gonna make me wear some skimpy bathing suit, aren't you?
And you're gonna look great in it, baby. And you're gonna kill it. What about it?
The winter suit, I will pay you to do my car.
Okay.
I know. I have a question for the people in the chat. Does just because this is on my mind right now, because I'm looking at Trevor and the landscape that he's put behind him with help from Kristen, and I know that at least Trevor, I don't know about Kristen, has been dragging their feet of applying to grad schools. And so I want to ask the chat if anybody has any questions about the application process, because I've been through that, Tay's been through it, and Rosalind went through it a little bit.
Tact.
So
if anybody has questions about that, you can ask in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer that, because I know I basically did it all on my own, and I wish that I had reached out to people, because it got really nerve-wracking as I got closer to it.
Truly, it's, you know what, before anybody asks questions, I'm just gonna give y'all this one advice. I'm gonna give y'all this suggestion. If you are actually thinking about grad school, if you really want to go to grad school, I'm just gonna put that out there, because what happens is you get overwhelmed, or you get like intimidated by these schools, especially really prestigious acting schools like Yale and why did all the schools just drop out of my head? Anyway, y'all know the prestigious theater schools. Just actually want to do it and actually be prepared for it. And the thing about it is, if you get told no, and go on about your life. It's okay. Like, you aren't gonna get a yes all the time. You're not gonna but always shoot your shot. So just be prepared to actually go into that and be serious with it if it's something that you really, really want to do. Don't be intimidated, especially if I know for an acting point of view, it's kind of scary being in a room with like 8 or 20 plus other actors all auditioning for like 13 spots in this one program. You know, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Just go in there and perform at the best of your ability, and that's all you can offer. The best of you is all you can offer. And if they don't want it, it doesn't mean that you're not good. It just means they didn't want you that time. Don't always think of it as something like you did. If you go in there with your best work, it is what it is, you know? I'm just gonna put that out there.
And also, to jump off of that, they're also trying to build their cohort out of people that they know are going to work well together. So just because you didn't get accepted doesn't mean you weren't good enough. It just means that they're trying to fit people together that they know are going to work well together and be able to carry each other through the program for the 2 to 3 years that they're in the program. And also, like Roslyn said, these slots are finite. Like, most schools only have, I guess, it depends on what you're going in for. Like stage management, there's 1 to 3. Columbia has up to like 8, I think, but that's one of the bigger stage management programs. But they don't have, I don't think they have an undergraduate stage management, so that also factors in. Acting, you have maybe up to 15 at the tops, 20, it depends on the program, but like for there's a small amount of people that are fighting for, there aren't very many slots available to this huge pool of people that are applying. So it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It just means that, you know, you didn't make it that time. So you can try again, or maybe you decide, you know what, grad school isn't my path. I'm going to take classes out in LA.
That's perfectly valid.
Yeah.
Taking classes out there, because all you're doing is adding, because grad school is nothing but training, right? So if you go out into LA and you take a class, that's training. Like, don't devalue something because you're not at it like a school. Like, go to good school, like good classes in LA. Don't go for them cheap ones, you know, not cheap ones, the ones that aren't very good. Don't do that. But training is training. I do have a question, one more question from one of my friends, my best friend. She's been blowing me up this whole entire time, and I've been ignoring her.
Is it a question about our name again?
Yeah. So she wants to know if we copyrighted it yet. Are we an LLC yet? And I was trying to be subtle with it, but she's very demanding that these questions be answered. And so I'm gonna shout out to my friend, because she was very, very wanting to know this. So is that a thing that we've done?
It is not, but we probably should. I think the main reason why we haven't is because we're not
you have no money.
Yeah, we have no money, so we're not like paying taxes. So I don't know what the reason to be an LLC would be, other than for nobody else to take our name.
Right.
To be honest, like, I haven't looked into any of these laws yet, or even like how nonprofits work. Because if we were to become like if we were to stay as a company and to grow larger and to start like putting on plays in LA or whatever, or have a budget, whether it's through grants or donors or whatever, then obviously we would probably end up being a nonprofit. And I know there's a whole lot of
stuff with that
jargon shit that goes into that, and I don't I don't have the mental capacity right now to look into that, which probably
it's just something that it's something that's in our future that we're thinking about as a collective. We're thinking about our next steps after we move out of quarantine and going into live performancing in front of places. So it's something that we have on our minds and we're thinking about. It's just not something that we're immediately doing right now. I'm gonna go ahead, and this is gonna be the last question from Julian. Any advice for those of us who want to start a theater company? Like, what should we prepare ahead of time? think I'm just gonna. Maybe this wasn't the question for us.
Woo! All right. Who wants to start?
I need a stronger drink. I'll be back.
We're still learning.
Okay. No, okay, jokes aside, I'm talking a lot right now, but that's fine.
Okay.
I guess having at least a vague idea of what you want your company to be. Like, for me, my vague idea was that I really wanted it to be a collaborative effort, and that I wanted to amplify voices that were not typically heard. Because if you look at the majority of playwrights, they're all white men, right? Whether they're young white men or old white men, like the bulk of it is white men, even if they write stories or write plays that feature or even like have stories about people that are not straight white men. They are still written, the majority of them are still written by white men. And so my thing was that I wanted to get away from that, and that I wanted to amplify voices that are typically not heard or that struggle to get heard. I also wanted this to be something that was a stepping stone or a gateway for young artists, whether fresh out of school or very early in their career, because these are the people who struggle to make work, or not make work, who struggle to get work professionally. And I wanted a company that prioritizes young artists and bring them together and allow them to create and fail, or crash and burn, or rise above even the expectations they had for themselves. Just a safe space. So that was my vague idea, and then we all got together, and I'll be honest, it was like 3, 4, 5 meetings of us just sitting there kind of
just talking
about theater and what we like about theater, what we don't like about theater, our experiences, like, and how we wanted that, how we wanted even our professional lives to be shaped, and the course that we wanted theater to go in. And from there we started to build our mission statement and actually started to get stuff off the ground. And then we ended up here through Callie's idea of, why don't we just have a show of showcasing random art that we have made? Like, it doesn't have to be performance pieces. It can be any sort of art. So I think to round back before Rosalind cuts me off, to round back to the question, Julian's question, I don't think that you need to have all your ducks in a row as long as you have a vague idea. But other people can weigh in on that as well. There's more that I didn't say.
I just want to pop up and say like one thing. The people you pick will make the difference. I just love this group of people with my whole heart, and I think that having a group of people that you love so dearly really motivates you to get the work done. I mean, you guys are watching all the stuff that Trevor and Kristen are doing. I mean, holy you go above and beyond for the people you care about, and you can just tell that we all care about each other. I think that we all really love each other, and having that support system and being able to say like, hey, I have this idea, and having people go, yes, we're gonna make it happen, is very very nice. Especially right now to have. So the people you pick will shape the company for sure, and will shape what the company does, will shape how the company works, how it functions, and how you feel within it. And obviously, if you're creating a company, you want to feel good about it. So pick people you love, dude. It truly makes it better.
Yeah. I mean, to sum it up, just know what it is that you want from your company. understand like where you want to go with your company and get good people around you to help make that company flourish. I think that's really what you need. All the other stuff will fall in line. So just, you know, if you have those things, you're gonna go great. And so I think that's it. We have no more questions. If we didn't get to your questions in this Q&A, I think the Instagram is still popping. You can head on over there and we will answer some questions there if you have it. Please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on Facebook, and go ahead and hit subscribe. If you're here, subscribe to the channel, because Brett, and turn on the notifications. Oh, thank God I watch a lot of YouTube. I almost forgot about that. So please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, so that way when we do our next live or our next performances, you will be aware about it. Follow us on Instagram. Like I said, you can follow our personal accounts because we've been spamming y'all with this for at least 2 weeks now. Yes. So please follow us on all the social medias that you can find us. It's going to be under Lighthouse Collective, one word, all of it, I think, except for on Facebook, then it's, you know, split up. But if you look in Lighthouse Collective, you'll find us. So please follow, please subscribe, please stay tuned. If you have any projects, any passion projects that you want to get out there into the world, we are your group of people. Submit it to us, send it our way. We'll look it over, we'll take it to the board, and we'll be like, okay, how can we put this up for them? How can we work with them as an artist? We are open to everything. If you want to collab with us, go ahead and send us a DM or send us a personal message. You know what it is. Thank you guys for tuning in to our very first production, the Lighthouse Cabarets. The Lighthouse Cabarets. I've been drinking a little too much. The Lighthouse Collective, the Blue Moon Cabarets. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys have any closing statements, you guys want to say bye, now's your time. I'm done. The MC is out.
Please buy Night Sky with Exit Wounds by Ocean Wong. If you have ever listened to me, or if you ever listen to me, please let it be about this. I swear to God, just buy it, please. I love him. And if you don't like the book, I'll buy it off of you because I want 7 copies to write in. So you have nothing to lose, seriously.
But if you're the 8th person, you're shit out of luck.
Oh yeah,
they're not gonna buy that one.
I only have 7 colored highlighters, so sorry to the 8th person that buys it. I don't know what to tell you.
I wanted to give a shout out to Men on Boats because we hijacked their opening night. Sorry. So for anyone that joined us rather than going to Men on Boats premiere, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The shade.
We appreciate it.
So, but
baby.
Well, you know what? They postponed like 3 times, so.
Yeah, we were on time.
Have some more show dates, so please go see them.
Yeah. They are open until the 4th, so Cal Polycona Theater, Men on Boats. I don't know.
It's free. It's on Zoom. Please go watch. Please go support. Support more live theater.
Yes.
And support fellow artists.
Yes.
Agreed.
Please support. Alrighty.
Anybody else?
I'm done.
Just thank you everyone so much. It's very much appreciated. And
thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
I need more.
Drink some water. Rosa.